Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the full scope of the fall of Anakin Skywalker, because one of the issues that I think a lot of people have with the prequels is they seem to believe that the fall of Anakin, especially in Revenge of the Sith, was just too fast. But in reality, there were warning signs long before Revenge of the Sith, and we're going to be jumping into those. But before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a join member if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. Even all the way back in The Phantom Menace, when Anakin had just been freed as a slave, his introduction to the Jedi is marked by rejection, where his feelings, especially his longing for his mother, are deemed unacceptable, which is making him considered as a potential threat. This defining moment shapes his relationship with the Jedi even after they eventually do allow him to join the Order. Despite Obi-Wan agreeing to train him following Qui-Gon's death, Anakin is haunted by the memory of their initial dismissal of him, even years later, which is particularly devastating considering he had just parted from his mother, the only other person who ever cared about him in his 9 years of being a slave. In addition to being rejected by the Jedi Council initially, Anakin had formed strong attachments to Qui-Gon Jinn, even in his brief time knowing him before his death. Losing Qui-Gon marks his first significant loss, intensifying his journey towards the dark side. Despite his harsh upbringing as a slave, losing someone like Qui-Gon, who could have potentially been a father figure who probably could have prevented Anakin from becoming Darth Vader if he had survived, had deeply affected Anakin, even down the road. Not just having to leave his mother for the Jedi, the events leading up to her death were all the more devastating for Anakin, because despite experiencing premonitions of her danger, the Jedi forbid him from checking on her due to concerns about his attachment. This denial haunted Anakin, as he realized his premonitions were accurate, but at that point he was too late to save her. The realization that he could have saved her if given the chance fuels his resentment towards the Jedi and himself, deepening his path towards the dark side. Anakin, overwhelmed by rage and grief, unleashes his darkest impulses, massacring the Tuskens in a violent outburst. This act, which was entirely driven by hatred and unchecked emotion, signifies his descent towards the dark side. Despite burying his mother, he shows no remorse, further cementing his embrace of the dark side, which also foreshadows his eventual transformation into Darth Vader in Attack of the Clones, which takes place 3 years before Revenge of the Sith. At the end of Attack of the Clones was when the Clone Wars started, and it was at this point where, having been raised as a peacekeeper his entire life, he now was forced to be a soldier, which harbored all of his negative feelings and emotions, making killing people much more of a regular thing, further cementing his lack of empathy for life, since his entire being turned into ending life rather than preserving it. During the Clone Wars, the Jedi Council decided to try and fake Obi-Wan's death without informing Anakin, which proves to be a puzzling move, considering their concerns about his impulsiveness. This choice not only damages Anakin's trust in the Council, but also strains his relationship with the Jedi Order even further. Because of this plot, Anakin begins to doubt the Jedi, seeing that they could be deceitful even to him. This also furthered his sense that he was outside the Council and even outside the Order. He hadn't been trusted to handle the secret appropriately. And worse, the Council had even weaponized Anakin's very sincere grief to make it seem as though Obi-Wan had truly died. Another pivotal moment in Anakin's disillusionment with the Jedi occurs during the Clone Wars, when Ahsoka is framed for murder. Rather than support her, the Jedi Council expels her and allows her trial to be shifted to the Senate, where she faces the possibility of death. Anakin's relentless efforts to prove her innocence highlight the Order's betrayal in his eyes. This event not only deepens his relationship towards Ahsoka, but also his resentment towards the Jedi. It also triggers a realization of their lack of loyalty and protection, which further erodes his trust in them. Ahsoka leaving the Order after Anakin clears her name deals yet another blow to him, adding to the losses of his mother and Qui-Gon. Recognizing the flaws within the Jedi Order, he sees their mishandling of Ahsoka's trial as a pivotal example. Her decision to leave emphasizes to Anakin that the Jedi may not be suitable for everyone, including himself, further deepening his doubts about their principles and their practices. Padme's pregnancy with Luke and Leia became a catalyst for Anakin's descent into the dark side. Triggered by his intense fear of losing her, haunted by visions of her death and childbirth, reminiscent of his nightmares about his mother, Anakin is determined to prevent history from repeating itself. His desperation leads him to embrace the dark side, forsaking his beliefs to save Padme. Whether the fear would have developed regardless or is influenced by Palpatine, the news of Padme's pregnancy amplifies Anakin's paranoia about losing her, driving him further towards the dark side. Anakin, after seeing the premonitions of Padme's death, attempts to seek guidance from Master Yoda about his nightmares, but it backfires. Yoda's advice to detach from mourning, echoing Anakin's earlier experience with missing his mother, only exacerbates his anxieties. Feeling abandoned by the Jedi's lack of assistance, Anakin becomes vulnerable to Palpatine's manipulation, believing the dark side is his only recourse to save Padme. Given the Jedi's perceived failure to help his mother, Anakin's trust in Palpatine over the Jedi becomes almost understandable in his mind. The Jedi Council's decision to not grant Anakin the rank of Master, despite his appointment to the Council, deeply wounds him. Feeling disrespected and excluded, Anakin sees this as a clear sign that the Council still does not trust or fully accept him. This rejection reinforces his belief that he will never truly belong to the Jedi Order, making it easier for him to view them as adversaries and ultimately join the dark side. This is also because part of why Anakin wanted to become a Master was because he would have had access to the restricted section of the Jedi Temple, which would have given him access to Sith holocrons that could potentially have helped him save Padme. Immediately after being rejected for the rank of Master, Obi-Wan requested for Anakin to spy on Chancellor Palpatine, which exacerbates Anakin's inner conflict. Viewing Palpatine as a father figure alongside Obi-Wan, Anakin is torn about betraying him. This assignment further solidifies his belief that the Jedi have deviated from their noble principles. The pivotal moment when Anakin chooses to side with Palpatine over Mace Windu is the culmination of various events leading to his transformation into Darth Vader. Despite criticism of the suddenness of his turn in Revenge of the Sith, many factors contributed to this decision, as I've been talking about in this video. His initial remorse and disbelief after aiding in Mace's death suggests that he's not yet fully committed to the dark side. However, this action signifies a point of no return for Anakin, as he realizes he's contributed to the demise of a revered Jedi Master, further alienating him from the Order. Moreover, this moment solidifies Anakin's belief that the Jedi have strayed from their principles. Mace's willingness to execute Palpatine without trial reinforces Anakin's perception of the Jedi as corrupt and authoritarian. While Anakin remains culpable for his choices, this event underscores the complex interplay of circumstances shaping his fall, revealing him as a product of his environment. I hope this video helped to demonstrate that Anakin's fall to the dark side was a lot more complex than a lot of people seem to think. A lot of people seem to have issues with the prequels because, especially in Revenge of the Sith, it seems like Anakin's switch was just too fast. And I wanted to point out some of the major plot points, even from his early childhood, that led to him becoming Darth Vader. So if you liked the video, please be sure to let me know in the comments down below, along with any other videos you'd want to see. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.